Hey everyone. Today's webinar is brought to you by myself, Mustafa Khanbhai. I'm leading growth for Avasam. We're delighted to bring this webinar for our Parcel Hub sellers to see how you can diversify your inventory using dropshipping platforms like Avasam in the marketplace. We're joined today by Eva Turney and Neeraj Gami, who have been online retailers and built businesses in this space. The topic of discussion today is the changing landscape of e-commerce and the pain points online retailers have seen and why it's important to diversify your inventory. Neeraj, welcome to the show, and it will be great to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure, thanks for having me. So my role at Avasam is head of product. Before this, I ran my own e-commerce business for about 6+ years. We focus on consumer electronics and technology, and essentially we sold anything from Samsung, Sony products, HP, across all major brands. And we grew the business from about 200 products to 25,000 SKUs.
Great. Really looking forward to hearing more about your journey and how you've used dropshipping in your business. Eva, I'd love to hear how you built a business in fast fashion and some of the challenges you faced.
Thank you, Mustafa. So my name is Eva Turney. I'm a platform director here at Avasam. But prior to that, I used to run a fashion branded footwear business online for over 8 years. We were one of the first independent e-commerce businesses that were granted opportunity to work with major fashion brands such as Lacoste, Crocs, Merrell, and many others. Prior to that, I used to work in finance in major investment bank.
Great, thank you and welcome. My personal background, I've managed marketplaces in the tech space for the last 4 years. Previously, I was with Uber and scaled their business in the driver and rider side, and I'm excited to be part of the Avasam team, scaling the marketplace for sellers and suppliers. We're going to spend today's session understanding the changing landscape of e-commerce and the pain points online retailers are experiencing driving traffic to their sites and managing product inventory to drive demand and convert sales, and why businesses should be seeking to diversify their inventory and using platforms such as Avasam to help them without having to invest in stock. So firstly, a little bit of background about what's been happening on the e-commerce. The landscape of e-commerce has changed rapidly over the last few years, and in particular in the last 6 months, we've seen a rapid acceleration towards online sales from bricks and mortar businesses. 20% of UK's retail sales are now online, and 60% of it's coming from marketplaces such as Amazon and eBay. Shopify in itself is also rapidly expanding and is doing more in GMV than eBay overall. But this comes at a cost as well, and driving traffic to your sites is not easy. It can cost up to £1 to £2 to get somebody to visit your site, and then to convert them to a sale can be anything as low as 2%, which means it can be as expensive as £100 to get a buying customer to your business. And these costs are only getting more expensive. And we're up against large online retailers or large marketplaces that have significant budgets to be able to market and drive traffic to their sites. For the average online retailer, how does that impact us? Neeraj, I'd love to hear how you face these challenges and how you adapted your business to compete.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because it's there's a lot of things that's happened in the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years. The cost per acquisition on your own website has massively increased. Therefore, people have gone to the marketplaces like eBay and Amazon, but even those marketplaces recently have started including pay per click on there as well. So it's just a question of juggling it across your channels and essentially making sure you've got your product range advertised as many places as possible in a cost-efficient manner. For us, we were a bit different because we were more focused on consumer electronics and technology. Obviously, the search term Samsung and Sony are quite expensive, so trying to get hits on that was quite hard. So we were more price-focused, and we focused on diversifying our portfolio of products, really. And obviously, with Amazon being 80% of all online sales, let's say, it just was easier for us to just do what we do best. On Amazon, just be more price focused and just make sure we've got good stock and just making sure we beat the competition on the buy box, to be honest. We did work with a few other channels like eBay and a couple of other ones, and they were okay, but obviously each channel has its own challenges independently, and it's just about managing the whole multi-channel fulfillment with what we've got going on. So what we decided to do was actually think about our business model in a different way. We were quite more heavy on drop shipping. So we grew our portfolio from 200 products to 25,000 products purely through drop shipping. We did have a focus on actually stocking products, but it's quite hard to stock so many lines in a warehouse, especially of which if some of them cost £2,000-3,000, like a Samsung TV. So we would stock more of the lower valued items that would move quickly, and obviously drop ship the higher ones. And we just balanced that quite smartly with data and analytics to see which ones were in demand and when. And we would buy accordingly just to manage our overheads and costings, to be honest, because with the online market, with e-commerce and especially electronics, the margins are very slim. So you had to be very smart with what you're buying and when. Otherwise, it could be quite a costly problem. So yeah, it's different for everyone. I'm assuming it's probably going to be different for Eva as well.
Great, yeah. Really interesting to hear. Really interesting to see how the, as you say, expensive terms for electrical items which are branded and the way you overcame that was leaning on the marketplaces which are driving that demand, and where you really focused your unique points and your proposition was on increasing the inventory. And I love the point where you mentioned where you can stock the lower value items to take your risk away from stock, but higher value items, you started using the benefit of services like drop shipping. Eva, really, it would be really interesting from a fast fashion perspective, whereby the value of the cost can be low and trends are always changing. How were you able to increase your stock?
So we were selling on a lot of different markets, including Amazon, eBay, Cdiscount, and obviously our own website. When it comes to driving the traffic to our own website, we mostly rely on SEO, of course, but also on Google Shopping. So our Google Shopping campaigns were very targeted on core products and seasonal products. So actually our cost per conversion weren't that bad. The main pain points of running the fashion business was really about the huge upfront outlay of the capital and the fact that we had to make our pre-orders almost a year in advance. So what it means is that you have to decide on which brands, which styles, sizes and colors you're gonna buy, probably 2 seasons before, meaning you have to predict what the fashion trend is gonna be, and that proves often pretty much impossible. To give you some examples, we would sometimes have a very nice hot summer and we would run out of our core products very early on. And in our industry, it wasn't possible to just restock in the middle of the season. So because all the stock is produced by brands per pre-order months in advance. So we would, for example, end up not having enough stock, or let's say we had a mild winter and we end up with boots which are left out, both tying up our capital and taking up space in our fulfillment center. So those were quite big challenges for us. So managing the costs associated with fulfillment center was also a major challenge. We used to have our own warehouse for the first few years, but then due to my personal situation, I actually lived in Middle East for a few years. We decided to move the business into a fulfillment center, and that proven to be a very costly thing. So it was quite difficult also to manage the amount of SKUs you hold versus the stock levels, because in fashion, the more SKUs you have, the bigger chances you have to get sales, because obviously the more colors, the more sizes, so the more the better. But you also hold quite small levels per SKU, which is the very wrong combination for cost of fulfillment, because the more SKUs you hold, the bigger your cost of goods in and your storage costs. So this was also a major challenge for us. I feel like dropshipping can actually help with both of those points, because you don't have to pre-order your stock way in advance. You can be much more responsive to the season and to the fashion. And of course, you can completely remove the cost of fulfillment centers or your own warehouse, which is a big plus. And this is what really attracted me personally to the concept of dropshipping after having years of experience of the traditional model.
Well, great. 2 very different examples there of how you as online retailers have adapted your businesses in the changing environment. And you both mentioned how dropshipping could be utilized. So for those sellers who are listening who haven't come across the term dropshipping before, And a quick Google search for the term dropshipping yields a mixed bag of results. It can be linked to stories of lack of credibility, sellers selling product potentially from Far East, which is either poor quality, poor lead times, and maybe not coming through. And a lot of people looking to make a quick buck on dropshipping. But the examples we've been talking about today are about how businesses have used dropshipping as an integral part of their supply chain to be able to diversify the inventory and bring more products to their customer base, which is how we're seeing a lot of large online retailers are operating and growing their share in the marketplace today. We'd like to call dropshipping stockless retail fulfillment. And for those of you who are listeners today who are less familiar with the term dropshipping or stockless retail fulfillment, it's whereby a seller is selling on a marketplace, as we've talked about, such as Amazon, eBay, or OnBuy, or you could be having your own storefront on Shopify, Magento, or WooCommerce, and you are managing your order with your own consumer. You're driving traffic and customers to your site or your marketplace listing, and you are converting the sale. But you don't hold the stock. The stock is held by the supplier. The order is passed to the supplier, and they are directly dispatching the order on your behalf. Now, the benefits of this means that you don't have to tie up capital in stock or inventory. You can have an extensive range of products offered to your customer base, both through your marketplace or on your online store. And when it's done correctly, you have the benefit of being able to manage the order back to your supplier, see the whole stages of the order fulfillment process, and if there are any issues, hopefully be able to manage the returns process as well. The challenge is there's different variations of drop shipping in the marketplace. That's why platforms like Avasam or marketplaces like Avasam are emerging to be able to enable professional sellers and online retailers to be able to do drop shipping in the right way. Eva, you're part of the product team leading the Avasam platform. It would be great to hear a little bit more from yourself in terms of some of the features that you're building up and focusing on to help retailers in the current environment benefit from these tools and also seamlessly integrate into their sales channels.
Sure, thank you, Mustafa. So I think the first thing which I find very important is that all Avasam suppliers are vetted by us. We actually decline more suppliers than we accept. And this is for a very simple reason. We understand that the requirements of selling marketplaces such as eBay or Amazon are very high in terms of the product and data quality, in terms of meeting customer service expectations, responding to the customer queries on time. So we want to make sure that all the suppliers that come on the Avasam platform meet the minimum requirements to make sure that our sellers can sell on those marketplaces and maintain the high standards. This is super important for me as someone who used to sell online and understand how stringent those rules are, for example, on Amazon.
Yeah, great to hear about vetted UK verified suppliers that are coming on board and the processes to maintain their SLAs. Neeraj, as Eva mentioned, this it's a very complex flow with lots of different channels from a sales perspective to then the processes to manage the order and the different elements that need to be integrated with. How does the Avasam platform manage it seamlessly with the tech and tools that have been developed?
Yeah, sure. So with Avasam, we try to automate and streamline a lot of the key processes. So when it comes to orders, you can seamlessly pass orders to suppliers the minute you get an order. You don't need to create a custom PO or write anything or bill an invoice as you used to do back in the past. All the inventory is synchronized automatically because we're directly integrated into our suppliers. So your stock on your sales channels, on your listings is updated the minute or within 15, 20 minutes of our supplier updating their inventory. So this is a key thing with dropshipping, is updating your listings and staying on top of it. And we cover both of those very well.
Great to hear. So just to wrap up and summarize, there's a tremendous opportunity out there that we're seeing. And there's the shift of retail moving from bricks and mortar to online is not changing and not going away anytime soon. And if you are operating in this space and doing the hard work to drive traffic to drive customers to your site or to your listing on your marketplace, you want to maximize the chance of being able to convert them and maximize the sale. You can do that either by diversifying your inventory, looking for suppliers, vetting them out, investing in stock and fulfilling that yourself, which you can manage your own inventory, or you can start to utilize dropshipping providers or stockless retail fulfillment providers like Avasam that are looking to manage the end-to-end process from vetting the suppliers that are coming on the marketplace and the product quality to be able to integrate that to your sales channel, be it your Shopify store or your marketplace such as Amazon, eBay or OnBuy, and then being able to have the confidence that the order will flow through end to end and you'll be able to manage the returns process. That's it for us from today. If there are any other questions, then feel free to submit them on the web form or reach us at hello@avasam.com or message us on the live chat on our website. Look forward to following up with more. Thanks.